What are we calling this? Is this a podcast?
Red.
It's
Flash.
Good morning, everyone. Happy Father's Day. This is Red Talks Clash, and we got an update coming soon. Can we say tomorrow? I think, Stuart kind of already let the cat out of the bag that the goal for the update was the 17th, which at the time of recording is 23 hours from now. So happy updates, Eve, everybody. Good morning, Spencer, Sam. We got Clash Ninja joining us.
You just
Ninja,
called
how you
Liam
doing?
Sam.
Oh, yeah. Well, a guy can hope. But I did. Well, we'll leave that in. Liam, how are you this morning since you were the one here?
I'm good, actually. Beautiful sunny day here, and happy Father's Day to everyone.
Yeah. Yeah. Ninja, how's it going?
Yeah, all good. Looking forward to this update being out so I can take a break from updating the site. But other than that, everything's good.
How, when they do these massive, reductions, how many man hours does that really take you?
Just the reductions. I mean, that's probably 3 or 4 hours work, maybe. Yeah, this time around, it's all the other stuff like the Apprentice Builder and
Oh,
the Druid
yeah.
and oops, spoiled them out. Oh wait, no, that's already been announced, hasn't it?
Yeah. No, dude, we are full lid off, dude. All the sneak peeks are out. We know the update's scheduled for tomorrow. Hopefully, it works out. So yeah, we can talk about everything. Spencer, how's it going?
Good. It's gonna be about 105 degrees today,
Oh, that sucks.
which is 40 degrees Celsius for all you losers.
Thank you. I was gonna say, and we're not losers. We'll just have the better system.
See, Link, you can't say we and talk about Celsius and also claim to be an American.
I can be selective about what American parts I want to be. That's the whole part of being American and having freedom.
Unless you have
God.
goggles and a white lab coat on, no, you don't get to be picky about what measurements we use. I figure for update episodes, we normally just kind of go through the sneak peeks, but we'll do a little backwards today. We'll start with the Druid, which everyone's only really had eyes on for about an hour now. I guess Ninja, lead us off, dude. What's your initial thoughts on the Druid?
Yeah, I think it's quite interesting having a troop that fills 2 different roles at the same, in the same sort of spell space, troop space. As far as healing power goes, although it's only a short-term healing boost, the amount of healing per second is substantially more than a healer. So, it could be quite good for pushing into real damage-dense areas where you just need a queen or something to get, a couple of things down first during that time. So, yes, certainly some interesting applications.
So I guess Liam, you're the only one here who's only found out about it right now. So what's your first take on it?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't looked at it in depth, but basically, I actually really, because the thing that's always bothered me about the healer is that once it doesn't have any troops to heal, it's kind of just useless. Whereas here with the Druid, which is basically like a healer, and even if there aren't any troops that it can heal, it can then still turn into a bear and do something. I'm not exactly sure when it turns into a bear, or haven't read that part maybe. But it actually seems much more useful rather than having just everything about healing, which I like the duality of it. So that sounds interesting, and I'm excited to discover it more and see how useful it is. But it sounds pretty powerful at the moment.
It's straight up 30 seconds right before it transforms. That's the
That, or if it takes too much damage.
Oh yeah, and yeah, it has decent stats too. It's 4,400 health at max and a decent amount of DPS.
Yeah, so in comparison, the hit points for the bear is about the hit points of the ice golem, and then the DPS for the bear is about the DPS for baby dragon.
Yeah, that's decent. The way I had seen them being used in the dev build was, I mean, it's a huge variety. People were adding them onto Super Bowler hits, which is fun to see at at any level too. I do wish Super Bowlers were more common. Then I saw Moose, Sir Moose was dropping them, a lot of them 5, 6, 7 behind the line of Root Riders, and I saw him tripling a lot with that. So using the bear to replace the dropped DPS of a Root Rider might help a lot of people who were relying only on Root Rider spam for a while. I think the other main way I saw them being used was in attacks like hybrids. Is there anything you guys had tried out to use them with in the dev build that you were finding success with?
I use them with hero dives. So basically, because you're getting like 100 odd health per second healing, if you stick it behind your queen or your warden, like it really helps give them a bit more mileage.
The 30 seconds of healing is really, I don't know, it doesn't feel like a significant amount of healing. Like, I suppose if you are popping your warden ability early, you can delay that a little bit and use the healing of the druids to get a little deeper before you pop that tome in like root rider attack. So that'll probably help a lot. Now, 30 seconds is a weird time. Like 30 seconds feels like forever with Angry Jelly because there's a lot of times where I just want my warden to like go follow my troops and I can't. And 30 seconds of healing just doesn't feel like enough at all either.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how people use it. And I guess, like everything, if things aren't panning out as they expected, there'll be tweaks to come.
Yeah, speaking of tweaks, like, so do you think this will replace the Root Rider, or if you're attacking like with Root Riders and witches, would you swap out the witches with them?
No, it feels like a troop that you're going to add to an existing comp, really, instead of replacing significant portions of another.
Would it have like the same function as a witch basically, and just kind of in the corner healing, or kind of at the back of the troop line?
Yeah, like probably in the back is what I think most people will start with. Right now, there's only a couple dozen people who have ever really played with it, so there's not been a whole lot of ideas flowing. But once it goes live, give it a week or two for the masses to play with it, see what's working, and modify off what they're seeing works. And, you know, who knows where it'll turn up. But it's not going to be like a mass attack troop ever either. I'm going to toss a couple into my Super Witch army tomorrow, or you know, whenever the update does come, and kind of just go from there.
Yeah, I suppose the real question is figuring out, is this going to be another kind of Root Rider thing where they're going to nerf it again a lot, or have they now tested it better and they won't have to nerf it when it comes out?
I mean, as far as I know, the testing process hasn't changed in years.
So they didn't learn anything from the Root Rider, you're saying?
Root Rider did its job as they wanted it to. They wanted 16 to be much easier, much more, you know, casual, average player friendly, and it certainly was. They just, you know, overshot it a little bit. You know, Druid, I don't know what niche they're expecting the Druid to fill. Like, as far as I know, they haven't said anything to that effect. Did you guys see comment on that?
No, I haven't. No.
No, but just overall, it's nice to have a ground healer now that can heal air troops.
It is cool. And then his healing, you know, bolt or whatever we're going to end up calling it, it does kind of ricochet off stuff and can heal around, but it's not quite the same as like the healer's splash heal, right?
Yeah, so it's only 5 units actually, where the healer can. I think it could heal just unlimited amount as long as they're in that same area.
Its heal will trump the real healers, right?
Yeah, if you have both of them, it will prioritize the druid's healing in terms of stacking.
I think also it's interesting that I think this heals like it's one big heal burst per second, whereas the healer is loads of small healing like amounts multiple times per second.
Another question I saw that I don't know that we have an answer to yet was if you are using multiple druids, the how do you say, like the diminished effect of additional healing units, you know, is the healing effect gets reduced, and that does apply to the druid. I saw someone ask how it
Yep.
works if you have druids and healers. Was that ever answered? Did you guys see?
So I don't think we actually got like a definitive answer, but I think in general the best one might take precedence. But I don't know if that's 100% correct.
You know, I don't really see the benefit of using both, at least for the healing aspect of it. And it's only 30 seconds. So, kind of no matter what it is, I don't think it's too relevant, but it is. Like, it was an interesting question, at least, that I saw. Unless you guys have any final thoughts on the Druid, I think we can move on to the rest of the sneak peeks.
Yeah, we also got another new character besides the druid. A very lovable character, very similar to the Goblin Builder. We got the Apprentice Builder.
He's already very popular.
Oh, very, very popular. But he basically trims off a little of your upgrade time each day, and you upgrade him to increase that daily reduction.
Is that basically like kind of an additional, like 1/10 of a builder over the long run, basically? So it's more just increasing your faster building times?
It's basically like it's like a seventh builder that's a third as efficient as a regular builder.
Yeah, okay. But it's like permanent. It stays with it for
Yeah.
within the village. Okay, cool. Yeah, no, I like it. I think it's nice. Nice addition. Price tag might be a bit much, but other than that, I think I'll still probably get it because it feels like an extension of, get your 5 builders for gems and then just keep going up.
I think it's a great concept. I've been comparing it to the clock tower that applies only to one builder. But man, the gem cost to max it is insane. Like 500 gems to unlock it, I think is fine. But then also to add in 7 more gem cost upgrades, like to max it out is 6,500 gems. It's wild. It it was like I've never seen a more negative reaction to something in the creator chats. So expensive.
And I feel like a lot of the Town Hall 16s or maybe even 15s won't even bother with it because after each Town Hall level, we'll definitely be maxed by the time the next one comes out.
Yeah, but I still think like over the long run, like because it's adding this permanent boost to upgrade time, it's still worth it. Like even if you're maxed now, for the future tunnels like 17, 18, yeah, you can always have that small little advantage that adds up over time. So I still feel like it'd be useful. No?
It's a feature that's not for us as like max 16s. It's definitely geared towards lower town halls and newer players just to give them an extra boost all the way along. I don't think it's like a money grab like people are saying. Supercell seems to be viewing it as a feature that will upgrade with players as they work through the town halls and get a little better and a little better. And it's just something that helps you get through all these town halls faster, especially now that town halls are coming yearly. We got a ton of reductions we'll talk about in a second, but the goal seems to be to help people move along faster and bleed off a lot of the initial gems you get from achievements too, because the less gems you have stashed from the early town halls, the more gems you might buy for hero books and cosmetics and stuff later down the line. So it's mostly aimed at, I think, speeding you through town halls a little bit more, and then also putting you in a position to need to spend later on.
And also, like people are using hero books as an argument for why it's a bad use of gems. But if you come into it with that Town Hall 10 mindset, using a hero book on a hero upgrade that lasts 2 days or something is a pretty big waste. When you look at it in that context, actually it's not horrendous value. And most people aren't going to be doing 1 to 8 in one sitting. They're going to do a level here, a level there, and in which case it's not quite as no, it's not quite as an expensive price tag.
Yeah, I don't know. It's totally optional, and it does kind of suck that like, hey, here's this big feature that I'm probably never use it. And, as a Town Hall 16, I'm done. Like the way they're trickling out content, I finished that content within a month, and then I have nothing but the Forge to do for the next 2 months until maybe a little more content comes out. And it doesn't work on the Forge, which kind of sucks because that would be the only way I would use it for the majority of the year now. Yeah, cost is crazy, but I really don't see the cost ever changing either because, like how mad would you be if you drop 6,500 gems on it and then they're like, "Oh, whoops, we made it too expensive." Now it's a lot less.
Yeah, that's probably not going to happen. So I think that's people concerned that that's going to happen. I think it's unfounded.
Is the Apprentice Builder ready to go on the Clash Ninja site?
No, it's basically been my headache for the last week. It's close, but I'll see. It might be delayed a few days into next week.
Is it more for the free-to-play players that it's aimed at? Because, I mean, if you're having the gold pass, that's going to make that much of a difference. And then as well, like I was just curious in terms of development for changing to adding the Apprentice Builder on the website. How does that, like, is it bug after bug, or does it change the whole fundamental logic of how the times are calculated? Like, if you want to talk about that a bit more, I'd be kind of interested, if you can.
Well, the other than that, I mean, as far as the actual level of the Apprentice Builder, that I'm just treating that exactly the same as a new defense or a new troop. That's quite easy to do. Basically, there's a lot of similarities when it comes to applying the Builder's Apprentice boost to an upgrade. It works very similar to the way that potions do, apart from it only affects one upgrade. So I can reuse a lot of logic from potions and existing upgrades. It's just a case of there's a few niche elements here and there that just needs working through.
I suppose Apprentice Builder seems like a nice new addition now. All in all, I'm looking forward to having it.
I mean, with the Clash of Clans teams being much bigger than it was 18 months ago, they're able to. We've seen how much content's coming out recently, and if there is one or two things where it gets added and you think, well, that's not for me, that's fine. Like no one's holding a gun to your head and saying you must give us 6,500 gems for this thing on patch day. You know, you can just opt out and not use it, and it's not like you're losing out on anything other than a bit of extra progression speed. Which, if you're a max player, you're not losing anything anyway. So I think that's my views on it. If you like it, go for it. If you don't, and that's fine.
Yeah, and then the question as well is like, with all this new content coming out, is it gonna become too much at some point? Like, will people check out and be like, it's way too many things to keep up with, not worth it anymore? And so it's an interesting, like, on the one hand, I suppose it's good that we have all this new content, kind of keeping it interesting and new. But on the other, when does it become too much newness? You know, because then you lose the familiarity of it, I suppose.
The thing that's going to annoy me too is the way it's been shown in the dev build is like there's a little icon for it on the town halls that won't go away until you go build it. If it's that way in the live game, I'm going to have to spend 500 gems just to be able to ignore it.
It's basically like the build a boat when you don't build it, and it's just a pwn giant arrow.
I do want to clarify too, like I probably sounded like I was justifying it and defending it a while ago, but I freaking hate this stupid thing. It's just egregiously priced.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It'll save you time in the long run. All right. I'm just going down the list in the finalized patch notes too, if that's cool with you guys. So next up, just moving down, the tactical overview, which is actually pretty cool. I don't know there's a whole lot to talk about, but it's pretty dope.
This is definitely my favorite part of the update. I feel like we've been asking for stuff like this for years, especially like trying to see where air sweepers are, and sometimes people hide like if it's a single inferno or a multi inferno behind like the clan castle title. I don't know if you guys seen that, but
Yeah.
with this
annoying as
you're
hell.
able to see exactly what everything is on the base, which I think is great.
The thing I like too is that it'll show you how much resources you'll get from each little building, and like if you tap one, it'll highlight them all too. So I know I always struggle to find air sweepers. Now if I can just find one, it'll show you both, which I think that's what's going to help me the most.
Yeah, air sweepers are the one that's going to be most useful for me because you can never find that second air sweeper.
Yeah, I've struggled with them a lot.
And then like I always forget, but lower level farming, like a lot of times I don't even plan for CC troops because the vast majority of bases download don't have CC troops. So when they do come out, it can mess me up. But now you can see if the CC's full or not, which would be real great for lower levels. You know, like in Legends, obviously they're always full, but
Because there's a stealth bonus, there's the change to the CC being on sleep on default, which will probably help lower level players as well because it means they're less likely to get the CC troops actually come out unless the players actively change the setting.
especially for new players, like fighting clan castle troops is like the only real challenge until you get maybe Town Hall 7.
Just about the CC being set to sleep, is that not just when you first build it, like, or will existing players all have it switched to sleeping?
Not 100% sure on that.
I thought I read it as it was only if you build it for the first time that it's automatically set to sleeping. For everyone else, it stays the same as it is now.
Most likely.
It should just be like when you first initially build it.
Yeah, makes sense.
And then once you start changing it, then that's when it'll get sticky and remember your setting.
Yeah, to be fair to that change, I feel like for my first few years of playing the game, I didn't even know you could put your clan castle on sleep mode. And I only found that out years in, and it's a lot. Now it only stays on
Well, it was a relatively new feature. It was only added in the last few years, like 2 or
Oh,
3 years back. It's so the classic was you'd get ready for a war attack. You'd request your CC troops. You'd go offline for 5 minutes, waiting for your army to finish cooking. You'd come back and find you'd been attacked and the CC troops are gone, and then you got to go through the whole requesting process again.
Like a long time ago, when golems would take like 45 minutes, and like a CC golem was kind of the standard for Town Hall 9 hits, at least in war. So you would spend literally 45 minutes cooking someone a golem, and then you would donate it to them, and then they'd like log off and lose it and be like, oh, sorry, I didn't have a shield. And then they come back and be like, can you cook me another one? And like people would get kicked out of clans for doing that.
Yeah, and there was no 1 gem donos, so like you would have to wait for someone to cook another one for you.
Yeah, or like it was probably like a ridiculous gem cost just to gem it too. Like, could you gem CC troops back then at all? Or did you
Yeah.
have to cook them?
Yeah, but it was it's like when you've not got the gold pass and it costs like 30 gems or 40 gems for like one large troop with DE.
Gems were a lot harder to get free back then too.
Yeah, and it was uphill in both directions.
All right, moving on. Hard mode. This is something people have been asking for a long time. And I also think it's something that's not going to be used by the vast majority of clashers anyway.
yeah. It feels
So,
like it's really only going to be a community used thing.
Yeah, like I mean, if you're doing competitions, I gotta imagine it's going to be the standard for most competitions now. At least Town Hall 16 ones, which is most of them anyway. But 5% more damage from defenses, 10% less HP for heroes, and 15% less less DPS. Does that affect troops too, or is it really only defenses and heroes?
Defenses and heroes, pretty much.
So troops are unchanged. I haven't touched it. I haven't done an FC with it on. I've been doing other stuff in the dev build.
Yeah, because once you start messing with troop DPS, that's when you start thinking, well, is a balloon going to take an extra hit to take something down? And it gets even more confusing. You have to unlearn everything you've learned over the last 10 years.
That's a good point.
Because I think it'd be cool if they could make it configurable when you start the war, so that different leagues could have different difficulty settings. So, you've got a lot more flexibility. Because I think the current levels for the pro players it's not enough. I think they're still going to be doing very well with it. It's just going to slow them down slightly. So if they could make it a slider, so they could say, right, let's boost that defense damage to say 30%. For the top players, you could make something that's considerably harder, that's a lot more fun to watch as a spectator.
The cool thing is they did say they're like monitoring it pretty actively, and they are willing to make those kind of adjustments moving closer into Worlds. It's going to be used for Worlds. Stuart said that during the AMA. I don't know if it's going to be used during the next qualifiers though. Have you seen anything like that?
Nothing confirmed that I've seen, no.
I asked about Worlds and was told like TBD. And I'm assuming they just kind of, either didn't know that Stuart had already confirmed that, or if he was thinking more like the Worlds qualifiers. Like, would you guys be in favor of adding hard mode to like legends, maybe at a certain threshold, or to like champs CWLs? Would you guys want to see that or no?
Yeah, I was actually thinking about that. They should make all of Legends and Champion League hard mode.
So when it comes to Legends, I kind of feel that like Legends, you've got more and more lower level players wanting to be involved in Legends, which rightly or wrongly is kind of happening, and that kind of probably needs to be addressed before they make any other big changes to Legends, until it sort of finds its place back as either being where the top guys go who are maxed out and they just want to be competitive, or something else.
Like, I wouldn't want to see it in low legends too, because like you do get a lot of variety in low legends. Those first few days of every season are always crazy. You'll hit Town Hall 14s, or like the people who finished in the top of the season before, until things kind of level out. And then, but low legends is just free for all for the whole time. People don't even get their eight hits in a lot of times, down in the 50, 200 and lower range. I'm fine with keeping it war only for now. We'll see kind of where the balance shakes out and how the difficulty goes. But like, for now, I'm pretty glad it's only optional in friendly wars and friendly challenges.
And I'm personally not in favor of having them applied to like Champion 1 CW or higher legends, or even just legends in general. Mostly because then it becomes kind of a like you're forced into it, and it's no longer a choice. And I just like having the freedom of choice, being able to choose like, oh, do I want to make it harder or do I enjoy the ease of it as it is? So I'd be
Yeah.
against them implementing it in the game, like as a obligatory thing.
All right. Next up, the biggest chunk of stuff, and the reason we wanted to have Ninja here today: time and cost reductions. These are massive. Do you know how much total time came off Ninja?
Yeah, it was in the region of about 8 months.
Wow.
That was mostly across like the 12 to 15 town hall range, right?
That's right, yeah. So I went down as low as 8 because basically the low level town halls are so quick these days to burn through. Like, when you start a mini these days, like your town hall 8 in no time. Like town hall like 8, 9, 10, and 11, those lost like 2 to 3 days each. So really not that big a deal.
Yeah.
But 12 to 15, like nothing happened at 16, but 12 to 15 is where the meat of it all is. Just as a brief breakdown, Town Hall 12 saw a month of builder time taken off. Town Hall 13 saw 2 months of builder time taken off. Town Hall 14 saw 2.5 months of builder time, a month of lab, and a month of pet time. And then Town Hall 15 saw 3 months of builder time, 3 months of lab time, and 2 weeks of pet time. And then for Town Hall 14 and 15, each of them, the walls were reduced by 1 million per wall piece. So that's a decent chunk on the wall bill reduced for those 2 town hall levels as well.
Well, what about heroes? Do you know?
Heroes mostly had time reductions, but that was affecting the king, the warden, and the RC. The queen did. I don't think the queen saw any changes. Which, I mean, I would speculate that most players probably prioritize upgrading their queen over the other heroes just because she's probably the biggest sort of force amplifier when it comes to your attacks. But yeah, those mostly saw time reductions.
Like, this might be a different conversation to have at a different time, but you just mentioned in the queen not being touched. For years and years and years, that was always like the common knowledge is, like your queen's the most important one, upgrade your queen first. But now, since equipment, it doesn't really feel like that. For years too, people were like, you can just ignore your king. You'd see people with, like max queens and level 20 kings because who cares? All he does is start a funnel. But you give him the gauntlet now and the gauntlet and rage or gauntlet and spiky ball or whatever, and he's way more of a difference maker too. So I don't know. It doesn't feel like you can really prioritize one hero over another anymore.
Yeah, I agree. But I imagine they probably looked at the player base as a whole, saw that people's queens were much higher level than the others, and the thought process was maybe to try and help bring things back in sync with some of these changes.
The hero time reductions didn't seem all that significant. Like browsing through them, it was mostly 6 to 12 hours off everything, and over a lot of levels it adds up. But yeah, it's still, you're not looking at a whole lot of time. Maybe a week or two less on each one.
And that kind of feels like it's a band-aid solution to the real problem, which is hero upgrades take absolutely ages, and it doesn't. That's a whole nother topic.
They don't want to hear it. Like I'm sure they're aware, but they just don't. Like every time we have a chance to give feedback, like with the last round of balance changes too. We had that feedback forum, and they're like, "How did it feel? Do you have any other comments?" And like yeah, this is cool. It's a step towards making things easier, but you didn't address the real problem, which is heroes.
Tied to like the hero books and how much like that's one of the main sources of income now. So they don't want to mess with that.
Yeah, exactly. Like I've probably said it like way too many times already, but heroes are the product. It's what they're selling us. They sell us hero books, they sell us equipment and ore for equipment, event passes, which is mainly to benefit your heroes too. Like heroes are the product. Like don't I don't expect significant changes to those. I mostly say it when people are calling for hero nerfs. Like that's the moneymaker. You can't make it too easy for us. Or Ninja, like all the time and cost reductions are they live already on your site?
No, for those I generally wait until the game update goes live, just because, say for example, someone starts upgrading foolishly one of the things that's had a massive time reduction today. They would say, "Oh, why is it only 5 days? I've got 12 days remaining." So that's what for the reductions I generally hold off. And I mean there was a few notable reductions in this which really stood out, which is the arch tower, the cannon, and the storages, where they were literally either halved or more than halved. So you've got arch towers and cannons at Town Hall 14 going from over 13 days down to 5, which is a bonkers reduction.
That's actually crazy.
I was going to say, like, how often when you see rush bases do you see like super underleveled arch towers and cannons, and although they're not the flagship defenses, you know, that's a lot of DPS taken off the table if you skip them.
Yeah, that's a good point. All right. Next up, quality of life changes. There's some actually like a lot of these I'm really excited about, even though they're pretty small. Like I'm more excited about some of this stuff than like the Druid. Just going down the list too. If your equipment ore is full, it'll give you the full bubble now. I don't really think that's been a huge problem. Are there really people out there who are overflowing on ore and not noticing it?
Yeah, it's just people posting on Reddit for rage bait, I think.
Yep.
The only difference is that now it shows you which ore is full, as opposed to just having the full icon, right?
Says the text if any of your equipment or storage is full, the blacksmith will display a full bubble, and will cycle
But
through the icons. So yeah, it'll show you which one is full.
Yeah, okay. So, but it already told you before when it was full. It just didn't show you which one then.
Yeah, it
which
now cycles through the little icon. I tested it the other day.
I suppose it's nice, but
Yeah, it's not a problem I've ever experienced.
yeah, same.
All right, we talked about the clan castle already. This is the one. This is the thing I think I'm most excited for. Because I'm a big fireball player. But they changed the way that equipment targets. So this is really to address probably the fireball, because it's the only one where the problem ever showed up. But it also is going to affect the seeking shield and the spiking ball. But those equipments would target the center of buildings. And now it's going to take into effect like it's still going to target the center, but it's not going to choose its next target based off the center of the building, I guess is how we can explain it. But there were a lot of times where like my warden could be attacking a town hall, because the warden's specific attack will look at like the corner of the building, but the fireball would look at the center of the building. So there could be a builder hut 45 degrees off to the side, where the center of the builder hut might be closer than the center of a larger building, like a town hall or an eagle. The fireball could hit a different target than what your warden was hitting, and it was so frustrating. But now it's fixed. And you guys aren't fireball players at all, are you?
No.
No, I used the double no. What was it? I forgot the word. Go ahead.
The tomes.
Is it a tome? The 2 books.
The warden books. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll just call them books.
I know it's a big thing, and I think I personally deserve at least partial credit for bugging the devs so much to fix this stupid thing. I definitely wasn't the only one, but little bit of credit to Rick here.
Here we go. Yep, I'm raising. If I had a beer in front of me, I'd raise my beer to Rick.
Oh, and then also in that same vein too, this is the next one is something forced, really pushed hard for, where if you had a separate defensive layout and a display layout in the builder base, it could be blocked by obstacles, and that would cause some sort of problem. I never experienced it because obviously like none of us play builder base really.
Yeah, it basically means that your defensive layout wasn't used. And if you think every 8 hours a new obstacle was appearing, people were getting a little bit irritated by that.
Yeah, and like with 2 builders and how long some of those builds get, like you used to just be out of luck on builder base for 4 days.
Yeah, it was like they'd given them a good feature for the top end players, and then there was that spanner in the works. But yeah, at least that should help round it out.
I know like Liam got super excited when he saw this one. I know that you could reorder your Supercell IDs.
I've been asking for that for such a long time. It's like, like my dream has finally arrived.
Yeah, I'd say on this list, that's my number one, my favorite on the list, because I've lost count of how many times I've got like a new phone or a new tablet and I've logged into the accounts in the wrong order, and then I can't be bothered to remove them to put them in the right order. And then every time I use that device, I go to the wrong bloody account, and it's like, ah. But no, fixed.
Yeah, mine are in a different order on my phone and my tablet, so I always screw that up too. Like somehow my Town Hall 8 is my first account on my phone, and I mostly play on the tablet. So every time I open the game on my phone, I'll still like just muscle memory, like fast scroll all the way to the top, and I'll open my Town Hall 8 for no reason.
Yeah, the pain is real. Especially if you switch to an account you didn't mean to, and it's got the attack, and you've got to sit there for the next 3 bloody minutes when you can't switch back away from it. It's like, great, I've just got 3 minutes of nothing.
It did take them forever to add this. I remember a few years ago in an AMA, someone asked for this, and they said, yes, we're working on this. And now we finally have it.
Oh, really? Like I know, like I remember Darian talking about it once or twice, where he just said like, "Hey, like that would be cool, but like the vast majority of people don't have multiple accounts, so it's kind of wasting time to bother with it at all."
I'll let you into a little secret. If an engineer says, I'm looking into it, they're not looking into it. That's just
Yep.
literally like, shut up and leave me alone answer. And then probably someone finally got irritated, and it took half an hour one Friday afternoon, and it was done. And you think, probably should have done this 2 years ago, but it's done now.
It's the kind of thing that just gets added to the backlog and you forget about it. And then 2 years later, when you're cleaning up, you're like, oh, what's this thing?
If it wasn't a busy day for me, I would go back and listen to Ninja's old episodes and see how many times he was like, "Yeah, that's something I could look into," when asked about stuff on the site.
Yeah, everything's going to become clear now. People are like, when he told me that, I thought that was going to be next week, and here we are, still not got it.
Yeah, I do want to ask you, Ninja, do you have anything pretty massive coming for your site?
Yeah, I've got loads of fairly big things which are like 80% complete, and then I've got sidetracked and they're
Wow.
just left in limbo. But yeah, probably one of the next big things I want to get out is a Discord bot. It's like, once again, it's almost complete. I just need to finish some stuff on the site for it to work properly, but I think that should be pretty cool.
So, like a bot to do what? Where I could update my timers through the Discord bot?
Yeah, basically, so get an overview of what your builders are doing, and yeah, start the next upgrade. So if you're on Discord and you don't want to open the site up for whatever reason, it's just another method to try and help keep things synchronized.
That'd be cool. Like I forgot my password again, and I got a new phone, and like when I saved your, like, it's not like an app, but you can save the Clash Ninja webpage, so it kind of functions like an app. Obviously but yeah, I forgot my password, so I haven't like bothered to do that. But a Discord bot, I'd be down with, especially with the stupid Apprentice Builder. I think that'll be helpful too. I never used Clash Ninja much for builder base side of the house too, because I never could be hassled to log in and pop my clock tower off at the right time, so everything always got off track. But Discord bot for the Apprentice Builder, like I'd probably be able to stay on top of that.
Yeah, it's just adding additional ways for people to make use of it, really, because everyone sort of plays differently and has their own priorities, so it's just trying to accommodate as much as I can.
So we only have a few more things to talk about too, but for everyone here listening, if you guys have any questions you want Ninja to answer about a site, about the update, or let us chime in on those too, go ahead and add those questions into the chat, and then we will come back to those here in a few minutes. But we'll finish the update notes with looking at some of the bug fixes too. I don't think there was any. None of this stuff seems too important as a bug fix, right? The way Yeti mites spawn, I never knew that was a bug. There was some error that said gold is not a valid reward type or elixir when the game was loading. I've never seen that. Have you guys seen that?
No.
Nope.
And then the duration of jump and freeze spells is on the info screen, even if there's no upgrade levels. That seems like a weird oversight, but
yeah,
I'd never noticed it.
I remember there being like one post on the subreddit about it.
Yeah, I mean, like I've known the jump duration in my head and the max freeze duration too, because we haven't had a freeze level in forever. So those are just kind of things like I've never to look at. But for newer players coming up, that's probably a nice little thing. All right, Ninja. Somebody asked, "Are you going to add the Builder's Apprentice?" I mean, we covered that earlier, but
yep, yeah, I'm working on it. It's been like I said earlier, it's been my headache for the last week. I've basically, it probably work in a similar way to how potions apply. So basically, you click on a button for the Apprentice Builder's Apprentice, and then you'd pick which upgrade you want to apply the reduction to, and then it would update the timer accordingly. That's what I've got planned. And unless I run into any major roadblocks, I think that's how it will work. And yeah, that's the current plan.
Right. Ninja, what do you think of the Root Rider nerf recently?
I think it's been okay. I think if you look at, I generally sort of gauge things by you look at how people's war attacks change against you in CWL, because you're seeing a lot of 7 other clans in quick succession, and the amount of root riders in attacks has seriously reduced. Like starting to see a lot more air attacks again, but still seeing triples where people are using root riders and Valks. So they're still viable, but they're no longer the troop you see in like 95% of attacks.
They dropped it in CWL, which was poor timing. So like that first day of the Root Rider nerf, like we're a champs 1 CWL clan, and then we still had we had people in our clan. Like we take it fairly seriously. We got Trample as the big content creator, and a lot of informed people, and still like 3 people in our clan were like why did my roots all of a sudden suck? The worst CWL day for everyone, at least in our group, was that first day. But then people had a day to play with it and figure it out, and I think it was still, the Root Rider show in Champs 1.
Yeah, I made sure to tell my clanmates if you're taking full Root Rider armies, make sure you take some DPS, otherwise it's going to go badly. And luckily, everyone listened, and so they either had attacks on par with their usual attacks or no worse than normal. So I can count that as a win.
Are you the leader of your own clan?
Yeah, I am. Yeah.
Like I'm realizing I've never seen Ninja Town Hall 16 Ninja. Like every time we do stuff, you always only bring like a 13. Are you just trying to be incognito somewhere?
Yeah, like I've always, like before I became a content creator, whenever you watched like YouTubers back in the day, like Powerbang and Galadon, the OGs, you'd see that literally throughout their video they were just getting bombarded with friend requests and that. And I thought, I don't want that. And in my clan, I've been in there since the beginning. There's a lot of family members, colleagues, ex-colleagues, friends, and it's
Wow.
like, I don't think it'd be fair if I became a content creator and then suddenly the clan's ruined with requests to join all the time because of what I've done. So I thought I'll keep all that separate, and then I've got separate accounts that I use for like events, like when Trample Damage is running them, which is like my Town Hall 13s or whatever. So I kind of keep the 2 worlds separate.
So do people in your clan know that you're the real ninja creator?
A handful of them do, yeah, but that's people I know in real life, and I've worked with or been to various events with, as in like social events, and talked to them about it.
They all keep quiet about it. Keep the secret.
Exactly, yeah.
Nice. I don't know if C-Note's question was a question for us or if he's gonna steal that idea, but I suppose we can have a trivia question. What troop had the most nerfs?
I mean, it might be the Root Rider.
Is that not just a recency bias though?
Yeah,
I don't know, the bat
probably.
spell. The bat spell got some nerfs back at the time, didn't it?
I'm trying to think of like what else might have had like repeated nerfs.
Maybe the Super Dragon.
And did the miner get nerfed a couple of times? Because I remember back in the day, miners had the issue where they would still be targeted when they're underground, but not take damage, which basically meant that like they were super strong because they would just be infinite tanking.
Oh yeah, and like miners had a troop space change too, because they came out the same. Like miners and bowlers both had troop space changes too, like really early on, right?
I was thinking it would be the witch though, the most true nerfed one.
Oh yeah, no. Sid saying miners in clan capital have had several rounds of nerfs. So yeah, probably. Yeah, it might be miners and root riders have more nerf. Graveyard got nerfed a ton. If we're opening it up to everything.
We forgot about clan capital for a second there.
Yeah, but I mean, the home village stuff is definitely. I'd be surprised if it wasn't root riders right now. Who's the most likely out of the RTC podcast to have a fan club? I know this one.
A fan club?
Yeah.
I'm not even sure.
Liam knows the answer.
I'm Liam's #1 fan. I know that.
Well, yeah, but like, is the fan club like that's a group of people like in terms of number?
Like Liam's the most likely to start a fan club for Spencer.
I'm running for president. I don't know if you heard that. Apparently, as soon as I turn 35 or something.
But yeah, no, like
Uh,
it's definitely Spencer.
Really?
Yeah,
I
dude,
was
like you're probably the most visible mod lately, and it's all positive stuff. Like every time we gotta tell people to stop being horny little weirdos, like that tends to fall on me, and I get like I always get a lot of pushback and hate for telling
Did
people
you
to
not
not
see
be.
that post from like 12 hours ago?
Which one?
The one in alt submods. Did you read that?
No, I did not.
F
No, I only
Spencer.
just woke up. Oh
Let me
yeah,
send
that
it.
was the weird little like that troll of a human being person with a crazy haircut. Yeah, I like I don't think that was aimed at you, was it?
No.
I
Well,
think my guess is because I posted the sneak peek, they think that I'm affiliated or associated with developing the Apprentice Builder, so they took it out on me. That's my guess.
Yeah, for the
If we
record,
could,
the Apprentice Builder was Spencer's idea. He insisted on the
No.
pricing. It is 100%
No.
all on him.
so all hate goes to Spencer.
yeah, we really got to lean into this one and take Spencer down a peg and put all the blame on him for this. Like Spencer wanted it to be more expensive too.
It's too cheap, yeah. No. Oh gosh.
Did you, Spencer? Did you mention the thing about recouping the cost of it after 70 days?
Oh yeah, I did some just I found an upgrade that was 8 hours and I took those gems and did the math, and I think it came out to like 70 days at max level you pay off the 6,500 gems.
So what it would have cost you to gem it, right?
Yeah, to gem the time off, yeah.
There are like people are doing so much math about the payback time for the 6,500 gems, and everyone's doing it in a different way. Like people are comparing to hero books, people are comparing to obviously gemming time, buying builder potions, and everyone's doing the math wrong and not wrong, differently, and they're coming up with different solutions. So the payback period is anywhere between 70 days and 685 days. And like people are also arguing about how many free gems we get per year, and they're doing that math differently. Is some are looking at obstacles and gem boxes too, and others are like, if you never spend a raid medal again and only sell potions. Like everyone is approaching this math differently, and I have no idea what is close to accurate. I do know that 6,500 gems is a ton. It's by far the most expensive thing gem wise in the entire game.
Yeah, and I think the Apprentice Builder and then the equipment in the shop, I think those are like the only really progression things where you have to do gems, besides the builder huts, of course. So if we do the math on all of that altogether, you're well over 10,000 gems.
Like you get like it was north of 15,000 gems from achievements, wasn't it?
Oh, I don't know that.
Yeah, it might be higher, and it was like a lot. Like if you add them all up.
Speaking of achievements, I just
Yeah,
want to rant
1,000.
about this one achievement. Doing the, I think it's 1,000 defense wins.
5,000.
How the heck are you supposed to do that?
You drop down to
It's
bronze
ridiculous.
and then remove your shield and guard every time throughout the day.
I've been playing this game for over 10 years and I'm only at 888
Like
out of 5,000.
every like I've been in Legends. In the last 4 years I've been in Legends, I've probably added like a dozen defenses to it. Is like getting 0 stars it doesn't happen a lot unless you're very low level. You can do it in like a month if you drop down below 1,000 and just get as low as you can go. Clear your shield, log off, and then over an hour you'll get 15 defenses, and you just do that all day, every day for a month.
Yeah, but you're missing out on so much ore for the star bonus.
Yeah, which is why it's like it's been one of those things where like I want to do it just for the completionist aspect on my main account, but then also like now I don't want to sacrifice ore for a month. They really just need to change the definition of a defense to be, not a 3-star, or at
Definitely.
least, like a 1-star, or whether or not the town hall goes down. Something like that.
But then all the people who spent all that time getting the achievement, they'll riot and be like, "Hey, that's not fair to us,"
Like, or at least increase the reward significantly. Because it's really outdated.
Like 100 gems or something, I think, isn't it? Something quite small.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's only 100 gems.
Like someone posted the other day on the sub, like they made a macro to automatically drop trophies for you, like in order to get it. And like Forrest found it and banned them, and they deleted it. But I know he was arguing like whether or not it was cheating or not. I think the guy was saying it's not cheating because it doesn't really like affect anything. Really, dude, like you're using a bot, you're gonna get banned.
Yeah. We should do like a community event where we tell everyone to drop just for that achievement.
I've done events where you do like the most trophies gained in a month, and it's just like get as low as you can for the start. You're gonna get like 1,000 instantly free.
I don't really get those events because once you hit legends, it kind of flattens out.
I mean, I haven't done one in years. It might have been before Legends was the new system. Even now, I'm thinking back to it.
Those like it doesn't count if you go up and then back down and then back up. Like that's not adding more trophies. It's just total min max.
Yeah. Starting point and an end point.
Yeah. Okay. That's what I
Because,
thought.
dude, it would be impossible to even track. Like,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
take a defense and you gain it back.
Well,
You couldn't even do
You
that.
could screenshot all your victory wins and say, "Hey, I gained 40 trophies 8 times," and
Oh,
put it
and
in
just be
results.
awake. Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
exactly.
I don't think so.
Clash Champ still does those events though, the trophy races. I think they do it who's the fastest though.
We did cover the whole update, right? The last 9 pages are just all the reductions.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I think so.
All right, I think that about does it. You guys have any shout outs? Spencer?
Shout out to actually no one skip.
All right,
Wow.
Shout out,
Liam,
hey,
what do you got?
actually,
Jesus.
shout out to my father. Yeah, we'll do that.
Oh.
Is he working today?
No, he actually retired a month ago, so you can't
shit,
prank
huh?
call him anymore.
Oh, I know. I like it was like I mean, I never did, but I did have a lot of ideas that I thought would be hilarious, and
Yeah.
I don't want to dox your dad, so I guess we won't share them. Liam, do you have any shout outs?
Yeah. First of all, thank you, Ninja, for coming to this episode. But also, I wanted to shout out Trample Damage, who showed up for a second, and C Note, who was here all along. So thank you for being here, and great job on podcasts.
All right, Ninja, what do you got?
I'll say a shout out to all the dads for Father's Day, and shout out to all the people who anything I've posted this week, you actually read it all, so you didn't ask a question that was already answered. Yeah, that saves me a lot of time.
Probably like I do get people sending me like posts that where people are like, how stupid is this guy on Reddit? Like there are a few people who do it. You Ninja are the guy who does it by far the most. And it's always like I'm not complaining because it's always hilarious, but like it's cool just to see all the idiots that I've missed. So thank you for that. I see C Note out in the audience too. I want to say shout out to him. Welcome back to the game and back to the podcast community, because I know this update is going to change your mind on everything, and you're definitely not going to throw a wrench in the plans that all the podcasts had for next month. I know you're way too cool for that. And Knob is here, so shout out to Knob. Happy birthday, man. Hope you enjoy your the big 5-0. It's pretty nice, and congrats on the new phone. And yeah, Ninja, thanks so much for doing this. Cool. It's always nice to have your perspective, especially when there's awesome Clash Ninja site changes coming up, and you're the math guy for all the time reductions and everything else.
Thanks for having me. Always happy to come on and talk Clash.
Yeah, definitely, dude. Yeah, we haven't had you this season, this year, so it was nice to check that box for now too. And everyone else, thanks for hanging out and listening to. We will see you in a few weeks.